Hey friend, welcome back to another episode of Ash to Dusk. I need to share something with you because I cannot believe I did this. No, I shouldn't say that. But no, for real. I have already recorded this episode once and I upload it into my computer. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is probably my favorite look so far as the background and the lighting that I have going on. I loved the episode. It was like my favorite one that I have recorded so far to date. And guess what? I go to hit play and I can't hear myself. And I realized that I didn't plug in my microphone. Have you ever just done something like that and you're just like, seriously? And here's the thing, I don't use a teleprompter when I record my episodes because I want it to be genuine, authentic. I don't want to rehearse a whole bunch about it or get tied up on my words trying to read something. I just want it to be like you and I are sitting together in a room and hanging out and talking. So I have to try to make this episode just as great as the first time I recorded it. No, if anything, it's going to be better because I have had a chance to run through it. So anyways, that's how it's going over here. And remember, the whole idea around Ash to Dusk and this podcast is going after your dreams, right? Setting a goal, going after it, not waiting for it to be perfect, the perfect moment. And for me, if I waited until I had money to go have a studio somewhere to film these, it may not happen. So I turned my home office into part office, part Ash to Dusk recording studio. And because of that, and I don't have a team of people who work on this podcast, it really is just me. So we're going to have things that happen like that, right? Like that's going to be a natural thing for us as we're working toward our goals. But you just got to get started with what you have right now, where you're at. And hey, sometimes you're going to make mistakes like that and you just got to get up and just do it again. So I had literally turned my lights off. I got out of my robe and I put on some comfy clothes to finish out my work day, everything. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to set this all back up again, get back into my robe. Oh, okay. So here we go. This conversation today is really just about things that I have learned in this past year, things that, I'll take with me into 2026 and things that need to stay in 2025 and never step foot into another year ever again. So I thought we would talk about that. And last night I was laying in bed and I was on my phone. I've been up really late the last few weeks, more so out of excitement. I normally go to bed at 9 o'clock and I'm like lights out. I'm always the first one in bed, first one asleep. And lately, I'm like the last one awake, the last one to go to bed. And it reminded me, this is exactly what it felt like when I started Project School Nutrition. This is exactly what it felt like when I was building an app for school nutrition. So when I get really excited about something, I just go all in. And we have been working on some pretty big projects that I know are going to be something that you're going to love. I just have a feeling that you are going to love it. And it's a lot. So anyways, I've been excited. I've been up. And so Mike comes to bed always really late. And so he, gets in bed and I'm like, oh my gosh, our Christmas celebrations are a week away, starting Christmas celebrations a week away. And I haven't even started shopping for my kids, which is not unusual. Normally I am pretty last minute when it comes to going Christmas shopping, but this year I think tops any other year. And it's hard because when you ask your kiddos, what do you want for Christmas? I mean, I don't know if you're having this issue this year with your kids or your grandkids, which is what do you want for Christmas? And they can't really tell me. They don't have anything that they really want because they get so much throughout the year from family and friends from all of the holidays and birthdays. And they also save their money and then they'll buy the thing that they want. Like Jackson just bought a $1,200 PC, but he already bought it because it was on sale. he had the money. And so he went and so it's just, what do you buy your kids? And so I told Mike, I'm like, I'm going to need your help here, which he's a great gift giver. So this is right up his alley. And I know that we're going to come through and it's going to be great. But I also have been thinking about this. I was talking to the boys' grandma and I said, the thing with this is every year people will ask the boys or myself, what do you want for Christmas? Like, tell me what you want. Like, what's that big shiny object or what is it, the thing that you want? And, sometimes you can tell them or you don't know. And this year, the boys really have no idea. But what is the true meaning of Christmas? And if you are a Christian and you believe in Jesus, then this story does matter. But when Jesus was born, the wise men and all of those that came to see him brought a very meaningful gift, the best gift that they could give to show their love and respect for Jesus, right? And somehow we lost sight of that. So we ask people, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? But can we just show up and give the best gift that we can do, right? The best gift that we can do for them. And when you have meaningful relationships with those people in your life, then buying the gift isn't really hard to figure out because you have a meaningful relationship with them. But if you're not close with them and you don't know them well enough, it's going to be hard to just go and pick out a gift. So I've been thinking about that so much. I don't want to just go buy a gift for my kids just to go buy a gift. I don't want to ask them, what do you want for Christmas? Because I feel like it's just not authentic. That's not what Christmas is about. And so, yeah, anyways, that's not what this conversation is about. I just wanted to share this with you because I'm sure you're going through some of this. I know some of you have already gotten your gifts. You have had them since before Thanksgiving. You are on it and good for you. I wish I could be like you, but I know that there's someone watching this that is like, girl, I get it. I go like the day before Christmas. All right, so let's dive in. Today's conversation is all about lessons learned this year. And I would say, there's no particular order for this. There's no importance or anything like that. But one of them has been confidence in myself, trusting myself. I had asked ChatGPT out of this whole year, what is a lesson that you have for me to learn based off of what you know about me? Now, I use ChatGPT all the time. I use it for my personal life. I use it for business, for work, like all the things. I use it. It knows me pretty well. I've been using it for a couple of years. And it was funny because Chat said to me, Ashley, you ask good questions and you come here already knowing the answers. You already know the answers, but you ask these questions and you make me tell you the answers in every scenario, every which way, over and over and over again because you don't trust yourself. And I was like, oh my gosh, how is this technology speaking to my soul? Because it's so true. It's so true. And here's the thing. I do motivational keynotes. I work with leadership teams all the time. And I talk so much about confidence and self-esteem and self-worth and trusting yourself all the time. But I also have realized over the last couple of years of doing this work is that oftentimes my best keynotes, my best messages around this topic, it's because I am speaking what I need to hear. Do you know what I'm saying? Have you ever just you talk to a friend or a family member and they're asking you for advice or you feel like you need to give advice or you're talking to your kids and you say things that deep down you need to hear or you needed to hear from somebody else. So Chat GPT spoke directly to my soul and was absolutely right. It is trusting myself more. Now, when I go into a new year, I don't set New Year's resolutions. I did an episode recently on why New Year's resolutions fail. So take a look at that or listen to that after this episode. So we're not going to dive deep into New Year's resolutions, but every year I try to go into the year with like a word or a statement, something to help me get aligned with where I want to go. And that's almost like my North Star. Um, and this year, my statement is CEO energy. Yeah, that's what I chose. And I chose that because I keep noticing a pattern with myself, which is I am an emotional human being. Now, was born in July, so my sign is Cancer. So if you believe in all that or not, but I'm emotional. I really am. I care so deeply about other people. I'm so empathetic. I can feel their pains. I can feel their joy. And same thing for me. I feel things so deeply. And so when you own a business or you're leading a team, so for you, you may not own a business, but you are leading a team, whether if it's your household or it is that you're in a kitchen or in an organization, okay? If you're like me, you struggle sometimes being decisive, especially if you're a woman, because if we make decisive, clear cut decisions and it doesn't look like we thought about it or we have any sort of emotion to it, we are a bitch or we are, like people kind of cringe at us. But if we were a man, that may not necessarily be the case. Now, I'm saying this not because it's like men against women or anything like that. It's just that I want to make better decisions that are clear and decisive. I waver so much. I go back and forth. I get a little wishy-washy. I sit there and I worry like, what will this person think? Or, oh my gosh, are we going to upset this person? Are we going to lose this contract? All the things, right? It's like a race of thoughts in my mind. And that doesn't serve me. And if I get super excited, your decision making is going to be different than if I was angry or whatever. So my goal going into this year is to make clear, decisive decisions. Like, I'm not going to spend a ton of time questioning chat GPT, this is what I should do, or trying to get affirmation from anyone out there in the world, that I need to look inward and start trusting myself, trusting that I know what is best for myself, for my team. I know the direction I want to go, and I need to stay laser focused on that. So yeah, trust yourself. That would be a lesson that I would say that I have struggled with for many years. And it always seems to I come back to that same thing. So going into the year with trusting myself a little bit more. And that's really setting myself up by saying, hey, you have 2 days to make a decision. That's what I'm giving myself now, 48 hours at most to make a decision, instead of sitting there waiting and seeing how things are going to play out. Now, speaking of worrying about what other people think, another lesson that I have learned this year, more so the year before, I carried this lesson over with me into this year, and I can see how it's helping me now because we as a team are growing leaps and bounds in our abilities and what we do and where we're going. And a lot of that has been stop comparing yourself to somebody else. I made the decision about a year and a half ago to unfollow basically everybody on social media, including my sisters. So if you are a friend or a coworker watching this, it's not personal. I needed to find a way to clear the noise out of my mind, to get blinders, like put blinders on, and really dive into the work that I was called to do. And what was happening is I would watch other people on social media and think to myself, oh my gosh, I was thinking about doing that. Now they're doing it. Or, oh my gosh, they're doing this and I should be doing this. Or, and again, this was not just professional. This was also personal. And I just was getting so consumed comparing myself to what other people are doing, and it wasn't serving me anymore. So I made the decision to unfollow everyone. I think on Instagram, I follow like Cody Sanchez, Rachel Hollis, Amy Porterfield, Jay Shetty, like just people that I aspire to be like one day. But I will watch those things. But even at that, I try not to get so consumed with it because sometimes I'm comparing myself to, well, they're able to do this and I should be able to do that. So, lesson two, stop comparing yourself to other people and remember that social media is a highlight reel. Remember this. Everyone you watch, including me, we all get up every single morning and we put our clothes on the same way. We have to go to the bathroom. We have to eat. We do all these things. We are human. We're all the same in that way. We all show up every day with insecurities, with worries, with doubts. It might look like someone's super confident, and it doesn't mean that. Sometimes we portray ourselves in a certain way because we're putting up these walls and these boundaries. We don't want anyone to like find us out. But remember, the people that you follow on social media have a family, they have a life, they are human, and they're not going to always share with you everything that's going wrong behind the scenes. I use my platform as a tool. This was a decision I made, like I said, a little over a year ago. And this year was like, I really carried that lesson through this year. And that is social media to me is a tool. It's a resource. It's a way for me to connect with other women who have been through experiences like me, who are going through things that I have already been through, a way for me to help, to support, to guide. But that I don't use social media to just consume all the things anymore because my brain, I just can't handle it. I really can't. And TikTok, I'll get on there and I'll scroll and I'll watch some of the most random, craziest things. Um, but I'm not comparing myself to other people there. So that was one of the absolute best things. And I just want you to remember they all have a life and they're human and they're not going to show you everything. I show you some things, some hard things in my life. Like I've vowed to be vulnerable and to be transparent and authentic. So I have opened up a lot of my life on social media, on this podcast, but there are still a lot of things, if I'm being honest, that I don't share for different reasons, right? To protect my family, my kids, whatever it might be. It just, I don't always put it out there. So you might look at my social media feed and think, oh my gosh, Ashley's got it all together and she's living her dream and she's started this business and look at all the things. And that's true. I am living my dream right now, which is awesome. And I want that for you too. But I want you to know that just because it looks good from the outside looking in, you really don't know until you're living that person's life. So remember that. Take little pieces from what other people are doing, but and use that as a tool and resource for you, but don't get sucked into it because you are your own person. You have your own thumbprint. People are going to resonate with you for who you are. Don't try to be somebody else. And yeah, that was one of the most freeing things I ever did was to unfollow everyone. And even my sisters were like, Ashley, like, what the heck? And I'm like, I know, I don't, again, this is the people pleaser in me. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I don't want to offend friends or family because I unfollowed one and not the other. And whatever. I just made a decision. I just don't want to see as much as I can possibly not see. Now, if you follow me on social and I do see your DMs, you are so sweet to me. You guys encourage me. You send me messages all the time thanking me. And I can't tell you how much those messages mean to me. It keeps me going, realizing that I'm not just talking to a camera, like that you are on the other side of this and it's resonating with you and you're able to take this into your personal life. I can't tell you how much that means to me. And I see those messages and I always respond. Same thing when you leave a comment on any of my social media pages, whether if it's Ash to Dusk or it's Ashley Marina. I always comment, I see those, and I want to thank you so much for that. But I have to put on my blinders. I am not out there commenting on people's pages and liking and doing all that kind of stuff because I love and support all my friends and family. I'm going to root for you all the way. But I also need to stay laser focused on this dream and on the goals that I have set for myself, for my team, and as a family what we're doing. Okay, so a quick recap. 2 lessons so far. I am going to start trusting myself, trusting my gut, and knowing that I do know what's best for me and I am capable of making these decisions. I just need to do it. I need to do it more swiftly and without as much emotion. And the second one was the comparison piece. Stop comparing ourselves to other people. All right, another lesson that I learned this year, and this one was a hard one for me. It was a heavy year. We had school shootings and then the attempt of the assassination on President Trump and the assassination of Charlie Kirk. It was just a heavy year. And when you are consuming things on social media, which was happening to me in that moment of time, I allowed myself to consume so much information around the Charlie Kirk shooting that it was like, I have to stop because this is not good for my mental health. I was so like fixated on it for some reason. And here's the thing, this is not like a political affiliation. I'm just going to say right now, I am a registered independent. I have voted for both Democrat and Republicans. And I will continue to operate that way. Just like when I hire people for my business, I'm not hiring them for who they affiliate with as far as the political party goes. I hire the best person for the job. So when I vote for people to go into office, whether if it's the mayor, the president, or anyone in between, I am truly voting for who I think will be the best person for the job, irregardless of the parties, because my values fall somewhere in the middle of both parties. So I'm just saying that right off the bat because I have friends who are diehard Trump and I have friends who are diehard anything other than Trump and everything that is Democratic. So just putting that out there. But I want to say that I was feeling guilty for feeling such sadness around the Charlie Kirk shooting because there had been school shootings and church shootings. And I'm like, why is it that when this man died, I had such a visceral reaction to his death? I went out to the garage. Mike was sitting out there and I was sobbing, like crying. And he's like, what is going on? And I'm like, I don't understand why I am feeling this way. The sadness and just everything surrounding that. But I don't feel quite that way about the others. Now, hear me out when I say this. It kills me inside when I see the school shootings. I work in schools. My kids go to public schools. It is so sad to me. But I think that this is a very real thing. When we see things all the time, like on social media, you get desensitized to it. That's the truth. But the one thing that we haven't seen before was a real man get shot and his neck blown out on live TV in front of the world. And it rocked me. But what I will say is when I was digging deeper into why is this bothering me so much, it's because although I didn't agree with a lot of what Charlie Kirk had talked about or preached on, some of the things did resonate with me and I did align with. And one of those things being our faith. And I ran from my faith for so long, you guys. I ran from it because I shared my story with you about divorce, and you can go back to that episode to watch. I think it might be like episode 3. I had a lot of shame around that. And there was just a lot of contention with the church and myself and how everything was being handled. And I ran from my faith. I never stopped believing. It's just I ran from it. I felt ashamed and that I could no longer participate or believe in this because of everything I had done. So when this happened with Charlie Kirk, I know it was the Holy Spirit working inside of me. Now, if you're not a Christian and you don't believe, that's okay. This episode is still for you, I promise. But I really want to show up and share my heart with you because this is how we learn and we grow and we gain different perspectives. So this whole thing with Charlie Kirk really made me stop to think, like, I go out and speak on stages. Now, not anywhere near close to what Charlie Kirk did, okay? So this is not a comparison. It's just I also go out and speak my truth to audiences, a couple of hundred people, but not thousands of people, right? And I was scared deep down. Oh my gosh, what if someone showed up to one of my events or, and this happened to me, or I just started going through all of these scenarios. But what it came down to is that I was being called back to my God, to my Lord, Jesus Christ, my Savior. I was. And I could feel that energy in me again. And I bought Bibles for me and my husband and my kiddos. And I said, would you guys like to read the Bible with me? Now, my kids have always asked, they want to go to church, they want to do all that. And like I said, I have my own struggles with that. So they were super excited. And Mike was like, sure, I will definitely do that with you because he's an awesome husband, even though that wasn't really ever his thing. And we sat down and we started reading the Bible. And it was supposed to be just a once a night or once a week thing. And then my kids wanted to do it like every night. So we had done that. And we still do it from, we're not every day, but we still definitely read the Bible together. And I guess what I'm trying to say is you just sometimes don't know how things are going to affect you. And I couldn't really identify why that scenario did. But my biggest lesson in that was to not beat myself up for feeling a certain way. We all get waves of emotions that come over us. We just need to honor and respect it and do what we can with that, right? So for me, I couldn't help how I was feeling. I was so devastated and sad, but I knew that the Holy Spirit was working in me and I was being called back to Him. And the other lesson in that is this: when you go to church, you will develop relationships with people there, whether if that's your pastor, it's a friend, or just someone in the congregation. And what starts to happen is you put so much trust and faith in the people who are leading the church, and that sometimes you forget the real leader is Jesus. That's the real leader, is God. And just like I'm a motivational speaker, I am not the end all be all. I'm just a vessel. I'm just somebody who can possibly help in a tough situation for you. And so these leaders of the churches, sometimes people put so much faith into them and forget that the real faith is with God, not with man. And man can fail us too. And so when things go wrong at church or you're not in alignment anymore, then your issue, it's really with the person, not with Jesus, is what I'm trying to say. And so I ran from that, and I realized the biggest lesson was not to put my faith into necessarily other people. It needs to stay and remain with God. So that was a lesson from that. The other lesson was about being desensitized. You watch these things on TV or on social media, like the wars in Gaza and the Jews, and it's sad. The whole thing is awful because we are so desensitized, where if we were right there in person, it would be different. So yeah, I'm back to my faith, and I'm not going to be ashamed of it or afraid of it. It's freeing and it feels good. And that was my biggest takeaway from that whole situation, which is to reconnect with my North Star. Another lesson from this year was giving my kids more responsibility equals higher confidence and self-esteem. In the moment when you tell your kiddos that they have chores to do, okay, or some sort of responsibility around the house, most kids are like, oh my God, wait, they always meet you. You're always met with some sort of resistance or negotiating. And I have realized that my kids, they're just getting older and it's happening so fast. I cannot believe my oldest son will be 18 years old in just 3.5 years. That's mind blowing to me. But it's going to come fast. It's already happening so quickly. It's my job to set my kids up for success in the future. And so that when they are ready to leave home, they will experience success out in the real world. And not that they won't have failure, it's just how do I equip them now to prepare for this? And it's hard to let go of the control sometimes. I have a son who loves to mow the grass, but Mike loves the grass to be cut with really nice lines and it be a certain way. And we've had to have that conversation, like, let him cut the grass. It's going to be okay, because the more he can do that, then he's going to learn how to do it better. And it takes a load off of our plate as the parents. So when you don't allow your kids to have responsibilities around the house, doing their laundry, putting the dishes away, sweeping the floors, making their beds, mowing the lawn, whatever it might be, you truly are stripping them away. You're stripping them of responsibility, accountability, and building confidence. We talk about confidence so much on this podcast, but confidence isn't something that people are just born with. It's a skill that has to be developed and honed in on over and over and over again. Well, confidence comes from taking action, from building the inner trust within yourself that you're capable. That only happens when a person is able to learn something new and work towards perfecting it, like doing a good job and being able to deliver on that. And so our kids learn that at a young age, and they about died. Last week I said, all right, boys, I've had enough with the bathrooms. like because like when my team comes over, I'm cleaning the bathrooms really quick because I have boys, okay? And like, that's enough. I'm tired of there being pee on the seat and pee on the floor. This is disgusting. There's 3 bathrooms in this house. There's 3 of you. And so moving forward, every weekend, all 3 of you are going to have a bathroom and you're going to clean it and you're going to do it the right way before you can go and play with friends or do anything else. And they're like, serious, mom? Oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah, I am serious. I'm serious because if you have to actually do this, then you might stop peeing on the seat and on the floor. So we're also teaching them how to respect things and people by having some sort of responsibility. And my kids' age range is from 10 to 15. So your kids are not too young. I wish I was better with starting this earlier. But yeah, another lesson learned is let them have that confidence because it makes them, at the end of the day, it makes them feel really good. So, all right, guys, we've talked about lessons around trusting yourself, not comparing yourself to other people, especially on social media. The lesson of you may have a faith that you have ran from or that you are very curious about, and you are afraid to learn more or to go back because of maybe what other people think. But you know in your heart that that is your truth, your faith, and what you believe. Go for it. Stop waiting for permission from somebody else to do the thing that you want to do or to reconnect with your faith again. It's no one else's business what you do. It's just yours. So stop giving away the power to other people. Stop putting all of your faith and trust into other people. Start trusting yourself and start trusting the greater power to be whoever and whatever you believe in. And the final lesson is let your kids and grandkids develop a sense of purpose and pride, accountability, responsibility. It might not be easy to get started, but just get started. Your future self and their future self will thank you for it. Stop being the gatekeeper of all the things. Stop trying to have control of it all. It's not going to be perfect at first. Let them learn, let them grow. And guess what? You're going to have a lot more freedom on the other side of that because it won't all fall on you. All right, my friend, if you've made it through this far and you haven't had a chance to go to my new website, ashleymarina.com, and claim it's a free 5-minute reset guide that I made just for you, especially during this holiday season. Head over now, subscribe to my email list. And here's the thing, I'm not going to spam you. I don't have time for that and I don't want to do that. But I am going to send you an email every Sunday to help you kickstart the week, which is some things that I love, maybe some of the things I did that week, some inspiration, some resources. Sign up for the newsletter. I will send you the reset right away. And you can end this year on a strong note. If you haven't already liked, shared, or subscribed to the podcast, please do so. That really helps get this podcast to all the right people who really need to hear this message and need a community of people to help them through a tough time. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. I can't thank you enough. And I know that there's some new people. I can tell that there are episodes that are being binged. So for all of you newbies who are here, thank you so much. You're probably like, why are you in a robe? And the whole point of this podcast is that We do what we can with what we have right now where we're at. And I do it from a cozy corner of my home. I love being in a robe to start my day and to end my day. I'm comfortable. I do my best thinking. And so I just decided, you know what, this is going to be my thing. I'm going to wear a robe and I'm going to encourage you to wear your most comfy clothes or robe yourself. And every Sunday, just find a cozy corner of your home. Um, and come hang out with me and let's have some real life conversations. So until I see you again, keep your light burning from ash to dusk.